In a land where the snow never melts and the peaks pierce the sky, a roar was born that the mountains would never forget. Deep within a half-frozen cave, a lone lioness shivered, her breath turning to mist. Her golden fur, once a symbol of pride and warmth, was now dusted with the relentless snow. Outside, thunder clapped like angry gods, a stark contrast to the silence within the mountain. The rest of her pride had long since fled, driven down by the biting cold. They knew the truth of these unforgiving peaks. No lion survives up here. But she refused to leave. Not yet. With a final, agonizing push, a cub was born. But something was different. Its fur wasn't golden, but a stark, pure white. Its eyes were sealed shut, its body still. There was no cry, no whimper, and certainly no roar. The mother, her life fading with every shallow breath, leaned in and licked her silent son. She whispered, her voice a fragile wisp against the howling wind. "You are not a curse. You are my storm." Just as her last breath escaped, the storm outside answered her call. The cave, their only shelter, groaned under the weight of the snow and collapsed, sealing the newborn in a tomb of ice and rock. Years passed, like seasons turning in a world that knew only winter. The small, white cub was now a magnificent young lion, a ghost walking through the frozen spires. His mane, as white as the snow beneath his paws, made him one with the landscape. He had never seen another of his kind since the day his mother had vanished into the storm. He learned to hunt the nimble mountain goats, to feel the rumble of an avalanche before it struck, and to understand the many voices of the wind. Yet, in all his lonely years, one sound had never escaped his lips. He had never roared. One moonlit night, he saw his reflection in the mirror-like surface of a frozen lake. For a fleeting moment, he saw not just himself, but something else staring back, a flicker of an ancient power deep within. A low growl, a tremor of sound rumbled in his chest, but it was swallowed by the wind before it could truly take form. He looked up, his gaze drawn to the sky. Vultures circled high above, their dark shapes a stain against the pale blue. They had found something. A trail of blood, a splash of red against the endless white. Driven by a curiosity he hadn't felt in years, he followed the crimson trail. It led him to a gruesome sight. A snow leopard, her beautiful spotted coat matted with blood, her leg caught fast in the cruel metal jaws of a hunter's trap. She hissed weakly at his approach, her spirit still fighting even as her body failed. But the white lion didn't attack. He lowered his massive head and with a powerful crunch of his jaws shattered the steel trap. The leopard stared, her yellow eyes wide with confusion. This creature looked like a lion, yet he was different, whiter, colder, and utterly silent. 4 days! He brought her food, sharing his hunts, and watching over her as she healed. A strange and quiet friendship began to form between them, two outcasts surviving together in their shared frozen hell. She, with her knowledge of the mountain's secrets, gave him a name, Aruq, meaning the roarless one. He didn't understand the name's full weight until one night, as the haunting howls of a wolf pack echoed through the valleys. The snow leopard looked at him, her gaze knowing. "You don't need to roar to be a king," she whispered. "But one day, the mountain will make you." At dawn, a sight broke the pristine horizon. A thin column of smoke rose from the cliffs below. Humans? Hunters? A jolt of memory, sharp and cold, ran through Aruq, the glint of metal traps, the scent of fire, the smell of fear clinging to the air. But as he watched, something else emerged from the tree line. Lions, a small, desperate pride, their golden coats looking out of place against the snow, trudged warily up the slope. They were starving, their ribs showing, their faces etched with desperation. Aruq instinctively hid behind a massive boulder, his heart pounding a strange rhythm against his ribs. Their leader, a formidable lion with a mane as black as jet, surveyed the hostile landscape and let out a guttural snarl. His voice carried on the wind, sharp and cruel. Find him, he commanded his pride. The cursed one must die. Aruq froze. The words hit him like an icy blast. They were here for him. The snow leopard, sensing his terror, nudged him urgently. Run, Aruq! Run now! But he didn't move. A change was happening. The mountain wind, his lifelong companion, began to rise, swirling the snow around him until he was a phantom in the storm. For the very first time, a fire, not of the cold, but of pure rage, burned in his eyes. The hunters' torches flickered wildly as the storm descended upon them. A sudden, violent squall. The black-maned lion, his eyes scanning the chaos, caught a flash of white through the blinding snow. Show yourself, coward, he bellowed, his voice thick with contempt. And from the heart of the blizzard, Aruq stepped into the open. The storm raged around him, a symphony of his own making. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating his spectral form. The world went white. He took a deep, shuddering breath, filling his lungs with the freezing air. His heart beat like a war drum, a thunder that matched the one in the heavens. And then he opened his mouth. The sound that erupted from him was not just a roar. It was the voice of the mountain itself. It was the crash of avalanches, the crack of glaciers, the howl of 1,000 winters. It was a sound so immense, so powerful, that it shook the very cliffs beneath their paws and sent birds scattering from trees miles away. The black lion stumbled back, his arrogance replaced by pure, primal fear. The vibrations of the roar were too much for the unstable snowpack. With a deafening crack, the ledge beneath the hunters' camp gave way, swallowing them in a white cascade. When the wind finally settled and the snow ceased to fall, Aruq stood tall, his eyes glowing with newfound power in the dim light. The snow leopard, who had watched it all unfold, moved to his side and whispered with reverence, "The mountain heard you." As the storm quiets and the last echoes of the roar fade into silence, the frozen valley glows under the soft light of the moon. Aruq stands at the edge of the cliff, a silent king surveying his domain. But down below, a figure emerges from the snowdrift. The black-maned lion has survived, and his own roar of fury and defiance rips through the night. The War of Kings has just begun. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to do it now. You won't want to miss the next part of this epic story. Hit that bell icon, and we'll see you in the next chapter.